There's a small shop tucked away in a quiet corner of town, the kind of place that seems to sell a bit of everything, from dusty candles to old books to, perhaps, even dreams. Inside this shop, an old shoemaker named Musa worked day in and day out. His hands, weathered and wise, told stories of their own. Every single morning he'd open a dusty wooden box, pick up his well-worn tools, and whisper to himself, "Today, I'll finish it." But what he was so determined to finish wasn't an order for a paying customer. It was a pair of shoes for his son, Emmanuel. Emmanuel was his only child, a boy with a bright mind, full of endless questions and almost always barefoot. He'd often say, "Papa, when you finally make my shoes, I'll be able to run faster than the wind." Musa would chuckle, a warm, knowing laugh, and reply, "You must be patient, my boy. The best things in life take time." So every evening after a long day's work, he would pour his heart into those little shoes. He carved the fine leather, meticulously stitched the edges, and polished the surface until it gleamed. He worked slowly, deliberately, aiming for nothing less than perfection, because this pair of shoes had to be his greatest creation. But life, as we know, doesn't always wait for us to achieve perfection. One rainy season, Emmanuel fell ill. The fever came on quietly, almost unnoticed, but it lingered far too long. And before Musa could put the final stitch in those beautiful shoes, his beloved boy was gone. That night, the sound of the hammer in the little shop fell silent. The tools began to gather a fine layer of dust, and the little pair of shoes, they stayed on his workbench, unfinished. Years drifted by like clouds in a summer sky. The children who once played hide and seek with Emmanuel in the town square now had children of their own. And Musa, he grew older, his movements slower, his voice quieter. Yet every morning, without fail, he still opened his shop. He'd still look at that small pair of unfinished shoes, and a sad, gentle smile would touch his lips. One afternoon, a weary traveler stepped into his shop and noticed them sitting there. He asked with genuine curiosity, "Old man, why do you keep these? They'll never fit anyone now." Musa looked up, his eyes holding a universe of memories, and said softly, "They remind me that love doesn't need to be finished to be real." The traveler stood in silence for a moment, nodding in understanding. He bought a simple candle instead of shoes. Before he left, he turned at the doorway and said, "Your story will be remembered." That evening, when Musa closed his shop for the very last time, he didn't put the shoes away. Instead, he placed them in the window display, lit a single candle beside them, and whispered into the quiet night, "For every dream left unfinished, may it still light someone's way." Not every dream we chase is meant to reach a grand completion. Some are simply there to teach us why we started dreaming in the first place. So if you're out there, building something, a dream, a goal, a relationship, and it feels agonizingly slow, or imperfect, or like no one even sees the effort you're putting in, remember Musa and his little shoes. Sometimes the true beauty of a story isn't found in how it ends, but in how much of your heart you poured into it along the way. Thank you for listening. If this story touched you, please consider liking and subscribing for more tales that remind us of what truly matters. Until next time, take care.